Do you have a friend or a coworker that seems to just always be sucking the energy out of you whenever you speak to them? They're always complaining to you about all the different ways the world is set up just to get after them. If so, stay tuned because this video is for you. What is up, YouTube? On this channel, more specifically this Motivational Monday playlist, I come to you every Monday with small tips, tricks, and little life hacks that I've learned over the year and kind of just share them with you guys. So if you're new to this channel, perhaps consider subscribing. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Like you guys know, we're going to be going over 3 tips in 5 minutes, so let's go. So let's face it, it's easy to say things like, surround yourself with positivity and cut out all the negative people. I mean, I say it all the time. But from time to time, you're going to be surrounded by people who aren't so positive. And let's face it, there are going to be negative people in your life, and you're going to need to learn how to deal with it because you can't always just keep cutting these people out. So tip number 1 is a reminder that you do not have to come up with a solution or try to solve their problem. Although your intentions might be totally justified, you have to understand that at certain times, there really is no happy solution. And it's not really your job to come up with a solution for them or try to solve the problem. And trust me, I've been there. I've had friends complain and tell me all about their problems. And the first instinct is to try to solve it for them because you want to see them in a happier state. And it makes sense. But you really have to understand and respect that it's their journey, it's their decisions, and the most you can do is provide advice when asked. It takes a little bit of understanding, but once you wrap your head around that concept, I think this one goes really far. And remember, the best way to annoy a person in a bad mood is to tell them that they shouldn't be in that bad mood. I've done it tons of times, and looking back at it, I don't think it was the wisest thing to do. But again, we're all learning, so this is one thing that I've learned over the years, and it's something that I wanted to share with you all. So now, what if one of these energy vampires, that's what I like to call them because they're sucking the energy out of you, keeps talking about one certain negative event or a certain negative situation that's happened to them? What can you do? Well, tip number 2 is using appreciative inquiry. So let's get right into that. So appreciative inquiry is a process in which you ask the person questions about ways that the situation could be made positive in the future. So for example, asking the person questions like, what is one positive thing that came out of this situation that you were in? And this question should ideally result into more of a brighter story about how the person envisions their future to look like. Now, lastly, what if this negativity is something that you're constantly being surrounded by? Something in the long term? Well, that takes us to tip number 3, which is setting boundaries. Guys, it's so important to set boundaries with these long-term negative kind of people because at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility. I mean, we all have so many things going on in our own lives, and it's just not fair to take on someone else's negativity and have to deal with that as well. So it's really a form of self-care by setting those boundaries. And oftentimes that begins with sitting the person down and having a very clear conversation on how that's having an impact on you and how you still respect that person, but at the same time, you respect yourself just as much, if not more. And basically just tell them that you really feel like they're bringing you down a little too much with all the stories that they share. And you'd appreciate if they could tone it down a little bit and perhaps maybe just keep certain aspects of their life to themselves. Now, I know it's very simple to say all this to you, and it's so much harder to actually say this to another person, especially if you're dealing with something like this. But give it a shot. I really hope it helps. An example of this, when I actually had to do this myself, is when I was at the gym. I had this person constantly coming up to me and sharing things that were going on with his life, sometimes things that were a bit too personal, but slowly this turned from a daily thing to almost every single day, went on for a few months. And after a while, I just really had to sit down with him and tell him that, hey, I really care for you, but at the same time, I care for myself as well. And I would really appreciate if you could keep some things to yourself And I know it kind of sounds a little rude, but once again, it's just a form of self-care because you can only take in so much. And remember, to shower positivity on someone else or to pour positivity out of your cup, you need to make sure that you're filling your cup in the first place. So those were 3 tips that have really helped me to eliminate or at least decrease the negativity in my life. And I really hope those 3 tips help you as well. And now it's time for, you guessed it, question of the day. So for question of the day, let me know in the comments if you've used any of these tips or strategies when you've dealt with negativity or negative people, regardless of if it's been in the short term or in the long term. And if you've used one of them, please let me know. If you haven't, that's totally fine. But if you used some other strategy that I may have not covered, put it down in the comments below, so guys, so everyone can see that. And just like that, we are finished today's video. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And like always, tons of peace, love, and gains to you all. What is up, YouTube? If you guys like that video and want to keep seeing similar videos just like that, you guys can subscribe to my channel by clicking right here. Or if you want to see previous week's video, you can click right here. Alright guys, thank you so much. Until next time,